All right, so for this one, we're going to use, we're going to slice up an image and then save to web. And that basically what it's going to do is it's going to make a web page out of your images that you have. Um, it's not super dynamic. You can't do a lot of cool things, but you can make links and you can make it work. Okay, so here is basically just a mock website that I made. It's called Production, providing animation and interactive services, and it's just a bunch of stuff that I made. This is like a render that I had, and I drew this character and stuff, and I thought it looked fun, so that's what I went with. Now, in this, you could have it all as one very large image. That would be fine. I actually do have this in a bunch of pieces. So you can see I have like the orange shape, the gallery image. Each one of these buttons is a separate image. Okay. Um, so I have all of these as different things. The text is all on that. So it can be however you want it to look over here. It actually doesn't affect it over here. There are ways of using this to make it easier, but in our case, that's not what we're going to do. We're just going to do it in the most difficult way possible. We're just going to go ahead and basically make slice this image so that it will make an HTML. This one will probably be the most complicated of the tutorials this week. Okay, so I don't need this. All I need to do is underneath the crop tool, you'll see the slice tool. Okay, grab the slice tool, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out wherever I want there to be a link, meaning that when I click on it, it goes to another web page, or it goes to like a button that you'd have in any sort of web browser. All right, so the first one I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm just going to cut this up here because I'm picturing this basically being the home page button. So if you click on this, it brings you back to where we are. So to do that, I'm just going to kind of put this here, and I'm going to click, and you'll see that it made a slice. Okay, you'll see that it's slice number 2, and what it did. Well, if you know anything about web design, you'll kind of understand what's happening. But basically what you're doing is you're making a table, and then it's going to select different grids in that table and make those buttons. So you'll see that it made a gray one here, and then it made, it made 1, and then you can see 2, that's blue, that's the one I made. Gray, that's 3, that's another automated one, and then 4, that's not an automated one. So basically what it's doing is that it needs to have these run in order. So that's why it cut up this way. So that'll be my first one. I'm just going to go right down the line and make all the ones I need. And then each one of these will also be a button. Okay, so that's basically the plan. I'm zooming a little closer here. This is going to be kind of rough because I am doing a bad job, because I was just doing a better job. But in this case, I'm not as concerned. All right. Okay, so we're going right down the line here. Okay. Boom. Okay. So once you do all your cuts, all right, so that's it. So that's all I need. It's pretty easy. What I need to do is basically adjust these. So this thing just does cut. To select them, if you click, you'll see slice select tool. That'll allow me to actually select each one of these. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of scale. Oops, a little too much. It's just annoying me. That way it's around it. So these are all somewhat. That one's a little bit off too. So let me pull this out. It's like on or off. Well, whatever. Okay. So now what I need to do is basically I've cut all of these, and now I just need to make it so that they work as links. So to do that, while you have the select tool selected, I'm going to double click on this, and it's going to bring up these slice options. Okay, so the slice type is obviously image. I'm just going to go ahead and name it, and I'm just going to call this home. Okay, and the URL, meaning the uniform resource locator. Basically, where is it going to go to? If you click on this, what is it opening? So in this case, it's going to be home page, because that's what I'm naming. Actually, I'm just going to call it home.html. So it's hypertext markup language. It's basically the default. That's what this is going to make. And then target, we're going to put _target. Okay, so basically what that does is it means it's going to open it up in the same page. It's going to leave this one and go to a new one. If you want to open up in a new browser, you can put _blank, but we're just going to do target, and that will be fine. So this is basically what we want to do each time. All right, so I'm going to go down here and kind of the same thing again. Wait for my computer to catch up. Sweet, I don't know why that went back up there. Give it a second. Okay, then I'll double click on this one. And this is work, so work, and then I'm just going to call it work.html. I'd have to have more of these pages. I did make a couple, and then _target. I'm just going to copy that so I can just paste it every time. Okay, and double click on this, and this one is services, All right, and services.html, and Control V because I just copied it from the previous one. Same thing here. This one's courses. You can probably see where this is all going. Courses.html. Control V. Okay. Boom. And lastly, contact.html. And I'm just hitting tab in order to go to the next thing instead of having to click each time. That tab works on everything. I don't know if you guys already know that. And then I want to paste that and hit OK. All right. So now it's pretty much set up. So now all I got to do after this is back up a little bit just for fun's sake. And I'm going to do File. And then you're going to go to Save for Web. And it's going to give you a bunch of different options. Now what you can do, it kind of depends on what you're making here, but you can select each one of these. Here we go. So this is the one it's going to make. I can select, and this is the original this was going to make, and I can choose for each image that's on here what I want the format to be. So for certain things like graphics, GIFs are best, or GIFs I should say. They're really good at solid colors. But anything that's a photo, you'd want to use JPEG. And then things that have a variance of transparency is PNG. And in this case, honestly, I'm just going to leave it at GIF. So you can just leave everything at GIF and it's fine. It might be slightly compressed, but it might be okay as well. So, and then I'm just pretty much the default setting should work. So then just go ahead and save. It's going to give you an option where you want to save it. So I am going to save this right to, let me find my thing. Boom, digital imaging 2. Classes, boom, class exercises, and where are we? sliceSaveWeb, finished, and I'm just gonna call it home, not home page, because I think that's better. Home. Actually, we should be naming it as index technically, but we're just gonna save it as home, and then we'll hit save. And it's going to exist in our location when it's being replaced. That's fine. I've already done this, so it's just saying that these already exist. But that's fine. Okay, so now I don't know if it's going to open up automatically. I can't remember. It doesn't look like it's going to. So if you go to that location, wherever it was that you saved it, okay, so obviously you have to make this image first that you slice up, so you'll do that first. But if you actually go to that location, what you'll see is, where are you? Slice for Web, and I go to, this is where I put it. If I double click on home here, that's the one it just made. You can see it's an HTML. It'll pop open. And voila, there's your web page. And what's cool is that you can see, notice that it's the cursor and turns to the hand button, right? So I can click on that. And I actually had already had some of these made, but it'll actually, oh, that wasn't right anyway. But it will, it's just gonna keep opening up homepage. But it will work as buttons. And you can have multiple ones of these set up, and then you can have multiple pages. So if I had made another page and I just named it after, Photoshop, I do another arrangement and name it, this other page work. When I would click on this, it would open up that one. Okay, so it's going to open up whatever we put in there. So for instance, if I click on this, it's going to look for work.html. So it's going to look for this. This is work.html right here. Okay, so I have to save multiple ones of these for each page. All I showed you right now is just the home page. Okay. But it's pretty cool, right? So you can see it's a web page. Oh, you can actually see the grid. So that's what it does. That's it. So yeah, go ahead and try to do that. Try to do, if you can, make like one home page and then maybe one or two sub pages. They can basically be the same design, just change what some of the content is. But yeah, I mean, just using Photoshop, you can actually make a website, which is pretty cool, totally custom.